What do Expedition 33 and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth have in common? No, it's not the lovable characters. No, it's not the incredible stories. No, it's not the gameplay or that delicious JRPG vibe. It is the night skies. Cosmo Canyon in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And Lumiere in Expedition 33. Absolute stunners. And as a game dev, I need to get my hand on those skies. The kind that elevate a game's narrative from great to incredible. Let's go. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Techno, the #1 channel for your tech tutorials, news, and reviews. My name is Viraj Das, and in this tutorial, we're going to be creating gorgeous, cinematic night skies to be used in any cinematic or game, or even virtual reality project. Without further ado, let's jump right in. And welcome to my computer. Here I already have the Epic Games launcher up, so let's dive right into Unreal Engine 5.6 preview. You can use any version of Unreal 5 you want. I want to use the 5.6 preview because it's new, it's shiny, and I want to try it. So, project name, I'm going to choose Night Sky Tutorial. And I'm going to keep starter content on. Feel free to turn it off and name it whatever you'd like. Yep, that is the right directory. Let's go ahead and click Create. And then we just chill.
6.5 hours later.
Alright, wake up. Chill time's over. Now, just go ahead and dismiss all those messages right there. Take it in. The glorious 5.6 new UI. Personally, I like it. Everything looks more together. So, the first thing we want to do is go ahead and edit. Edit plugins. And then type HDRI. HDRI Backdrop is exactly what we need. So go ahead, press that check mark, and time to enter chill time again.
A few moments later.
And we are back. So let's dive right in now that the plugin's installed. Click File, New Level. Just create a basic level. And disgusting. A sky that's blue and has clouds and sun. We don't want that. That is... no. We want Cosmo Canyon, Boogan, Hagen cutscene stuff.
This is only the beginning.
Right? And this is not it. So what am I going to do? Well, let's just go ahead and... bye-bye. Now we're left with a pitch black scene with just a floor and player start, which we don't really need, but it's there. And how are we going to light this scene? Well, remember the HDRI plugin? Go ahead and up here, search for HDRI, bring in the HDRI Backdrop. You'll see all these artifacting, perfectly normal, completely fine. Once it's in the scene, just drag under lighting there, keep things organized, and then just reset the location. Now, you'll notice that our, first of all, we have a sky again, which is not what we want, but don't worry, we'll get there. And also, our ground plane is gone. But is it? See, sometimes you just have to dig a bit beneath the surface. Bam, we discovered gold. Just saying. So, you'll also notice that the light that is supposed to be emitting from the HDRI backdrop isn't. Now the reason why is it's actually too small. If I increase the camera speed and we zoom out, this entire thing is just a dome around whatever our scene is. And we can change the scale of this dome. So in details of our HDRI backdrop, here you can see cube map, intensity, and size. Those are the only three things we're going to be touching inside this. So right now, since we're trying to actually light up our scene, just go ahead and increase the size. And as you see, as we're increasing the size, the actual size of the dome around is increasing, and eventually, glorious. Now we can actually, let's set this to a nice, maybe 600. Yeah, I like clean values. So now that we still have our dome around, and it's actually lighting up our ground plane. Let's go ahead and turn down that camera speed. Next up, how do we turn this gorgeous looking realistic sky into an even more gorgeous looking night sky? Well, for that, I personally like two websites, Polyhaven and Ambient CG. Now, I will come clean. Only very recently, actually, did I discover Ambient CG, but it is amazing. Polyhaven's been with me for a good few years, and their HDRIs are very high quality. However, I did find that their night's HDRIs aren't as good as I hope, or at least from a pure sky perspective. Then there's Ambient CG. Now, I'm in no way affiliated with any of these websites. So if we go ahead in Ambient CG, choose HDRI and then night. Oh yeah, this is the stuff we're looking for. Let's go ahead and just choose, I don't know, this one. And let's get the 16K HDR.EXR. Now, what did I just say? .EXR? I thought we wanted .HDR. You're right, we do. So let's go ahead and actually just open with Photoshop, because Photoshop makes everything glorious. So it says open EXR read options. What do we want to read the alpha channel data as? Do we want transparency, or do we want it as an alpha channel? For our situation, go with alpha channel and just click OK. Then let it load up and bam, right there. But it's looking kind of dull, isn't it? I want shiny stars in the sky. How do we get that? Well, since this is Photoshop, you can really configure this to however you want, whatever best suits your game or cinematic. For me, I do want the shiny stars. First things first, and everyone should do this. Go to image mode and make sure it is under the 32 bits channel, because that is the channel that supports HDR. And then for me, I'm going to go to filter, camera raw filter. And this will let me adjust the actual, the image to exactly what I want. I'm going to turn down the highlights a little bit. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I do want to keep the tutorial moving. Visualize HDR. Okay. This is fine for now. Of course, you should take a lot more time and actually flesh out exactly, perfectly what you want. For me, this is good. Then, go to File, Save a Copy. If you don't do Save a Copy, if you do like Export or something, you won't see this option. But in Save a Copy, change OpenEXR to Radiance HDR RGB XYZ. That's what we want. We want radiance. We want light. And just rename it to whatever you want. I want night sky. Short and sweet. Let it load up. It's doing its thing, and there we go. It should be done. If we head in here, now is where you see where I want the starter content, just to keep things clean. Now, of course, you can go ahead and create an HDRI folder, but personally, I don't want to do that, since the starter content already does have an HDRI folder. Convenient. And just go ahead and drag in our .hdr file. Keep in mind, it is a pretty big file, so it might take a little bit. Just chill. And we're done. If you go ahead and open that up, bam, we have our HDRI right inside Unreal. This is perfect. Go ahead and save that. And then here, in having our HDRI backdrop selected, in details you'll see HDRI backdrop. And we just want to get our night sky backdrop in there, and look at that. Now, you'll see it is automatically brightening, which makes it ugly. So, we do want to absolutely destroy the auto exposure. So grab a post-process volume, switch it to infinite extent unbound. Bam, just like that. And then, oh man, too many things are open. Okay. Exposure. Change it from auto exposure to manual. And oh no, we're back to the pitch black darkness. The nothingness. Don't worry. Just go ahead and change the exposure compensation. And now we can start seeing things. Amazing, right? This looks fabulous. The only problem is now, if I start dragging things into my scene, I don't know, we'll take this chair. It is really, really dark. Here's what we can do. Inside the actual HDRI backdrop, we can change the intensity. But as we're changing the intensity, notice how we're just undoing the glorious work of changing the exposure. It's just brightening the stars in the sky again. This looks very, very night scene-ly if we increase it. So I'm just going to keep that at maybe 1, because 1 looked good. And then go ahead and scroll here so this very well hidden skylight inside the actual blueprint of the HDRI backdrop. And see where it says SLS captured scene? Change that to SLS specified cube map. And from there, just go ahead and choose our night sky. Now what this does is we can change the intensity of the actual sky's visuals and the light it's emitting separately. So I like to keep this sky as it is because this looks fabulous. And then here we can increase the intensity again without changing the sky. Now this will take a lot of tweaking and balancing. I will keep this lower than I do want because the next thing we're gonna do is really the pièce de résistance. I still don't know what that means. Could someone in chat please tell me? But for now, drag in a directional light like I did, and use Control and L to just change the direction to a good direction. Wherever you think the light is probably coming from in the scene. And once you think you've found that, again, you can go ahead and change that later. Once you do think you've found that, make sure to lower the intensity to again, it's all the balancing of the sky and the actual lighting of the scene. So I think 0.6 blah 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 lux is pretty good. And then here's the thing. If we type shaft, we'll get light shaft occlusion and light shaft bloom. Go ahead, turn those both on. And let me not actually lose the location of the light. There we go. Now, if you turn the occlusion depth range down, you'll see something's already happening. Ooh, fancy. And then the bloom scale up. Wow. Now that's the magic right there. Then you can start tweaking it in different positions in your actual sky, and it will adapt to the color of the HDRI. Not intentional rhyming, but it kind of works. And look at that. So now we have a light scene, and in your game or cinematic, if you just angle your camera towards the directional light, you are blessed with this amazing scene. All these God rays taking the color of the actual sky. How cool is that?
And that is how you bring the magic of Cosmo Canyon and Lumiere into your own Unreal Engine 5 projects. By crafting night skies that make your players stop, stare, and feel the weight of the stars. If you found this helpful, smash that like button like it's a meteor heading for your world. Subscribe for more game dev magic, because we're just getting started. And hey, share this video with a fellow developer who can use a little more Stardust in their life. Thanks for hanging out. Let's make our skies as epic as our stories. Keep creating, and I'll see you in the next one.